Oh, giant crater! Give me more new Pokémon!
No!
Please?
No!
Come on!
Okay, maybe!
I'll take it! Hello, my fellow Pokemon trainers. Welcome back, welcome one, welcome all. It's time to talk Scarlet Violet DLC. You know, that thing we hardly ever do and no one really talks or speculates about. You know, it doesn't happen at all that often, really, only kind of all of the time! And that's because it's incredibly satisfying to ponder and speculate and articulate all of the teases, hints, and leaks that we have been given with the imminent, and I do mean imminent, announcement of the DLC. Well, there's only one question. What and when? When is easier to answer. We have, well, literally only 1 month away until the next Pokemon presents. And, you know, from a established, reputable revealer of things, let's say, that's quite the timeline. We obviously have Mr. Raikou just outright telling us the DLC is so cool, looking forward to our reactions when it gets revealed. So, I mean, it's a thing, it exists, and of course this, which really is hard to interpret any other way than, hey, Pokemon Day will be the DLC announcement. And look, that's something we all kind of assumed, we all kind of thought, and it makes a lot of sense. It lines up with the expected timeline, and that's really exciting. The question, though, of course, is what will the DLC be? And on that front, we have actually had a little bit of a development, which is rather exciting. But what if we actually get new content at Pokemon Day? Not just an announcement, not just a trailer, not just a release date, but actually new stuff straight into Scarlet and Violet on that day with, I don't know, patch 1.2? We know patch 1.2 is coming, and we do have this potential, and I do say potential because, again, grain of salt, it's more than likely not real, potential to highlight potential leak. Patch 1.2 of Pokemon Day brings a free update with 3 new Pokemon in unique areas, along with the announcement of 2 rounds of DLC. Kalos is not the DLC, but we do get the return of a battle facility. We also get Paradox Komomo, we get Paradox Metagross, Paradox Suicune, and Virizion. Those 2 are easy predictions to put in any air quotes leak, because we know from the Scarlet and Violet book they are pretty much going to happen. We know their signature moves are in the files, we know they are real, it's just a question of when, not if, with our 2 new Paradox Legendaries, which is very exciting. A Paradox Houndoom and a Paradox Heliolisk, which I actually think would be very cool, because I quite like Heliolisk, and I feel like he just kind of got forgotten. That's an interesting collection, isn't it? And then a Payturtle, a crystal turtle Pokemon. Stop this massive creature before it invades Paldea with its newly created Paradox Pokemon. That's quite the bold call, isn't it? That's an invasion of Paldea by a massive legendary Terastallizing origin Pokemon. Supposedly this is the answer to what's alluded to in both the book and the research notes in Area 0. Though Payturtle, of course, is more characters than the blanked out name, so that already puts it into question. Supposedly, though, it's an ancient weapon from a lost civilization with the power to turn anything into reality, including Paradox Pokemon, supporting the theme that there's a little bit more going on here than an actual just straight up time machine. And apparently Jacques himself has always been fascinated by the professor's work, and then he reactivates the time machine with the help of this new legendary and goes full villain. I don't know how much I believe this. I don't believe it enough to dedicate a proper full video discussing it, but I do think it's worth mentioning. As, yeah, certainly not the lamest idea I have seen for a potential DLC storyline, and certainly a good collection of potential Paradox Pokemon. What do you guys think? But what is definitely worth properly talking about is stuff we know for shoresies. And, well, first, back to good old Goo with, wanna know the codename of DLC project for Titan? That is interesting. Now, project code words don't tend to have a lot of meaning to them when they're chosen. However, we do get a follow-up on a code to break and a hint to give. And given this is from Ku and how specific he's being, I imagine it might be more relevant than we might expect. So there's definitely a word to dig into when it comes to this. Firstly, let's crack the code. Supposedly, what it means is, well, 1,000. And there's variations on 1,000 what exactly, but the 1,000 is the strong word here. So how will the word 1,000 be tied to the DLC? Are we getting all 1,000 Pokemon suddenly implemented? Yeah! I doubt that's the case. But perhaps 1,000 has connotations with our third legendary. Rumors are circulating that it is Turtley Tortoise based, which ties in to the previous maybe leak we talked about. And when you have that going on, could it represent 1,000 sections of a tortoise's shell? Or, as another translation would have it, it's more than 1,000. So it could just reference that now we're getting DLC with new Pokemon, we are firmly in more than 1,000 Pokemon? Or could it be more than 1,000 hexagons to make up Zygarde to tie into a potential Kalos DLC theme? That is very interesting. And I would love your guys' take on that. Another potential option, though, is phonetically. The translation of this makes it sound, if we take it phonetically, as Sudachi, which in itself can mean either a citrus, i.e. a citrus fruit, which would imply a third academy, a fruit-based academy, as we have seen is the theme in Scarlet and Violet, but it can also mean graduate. Again, academy, school, tie-in with the students. Now that in the DLC we have graduated, we are champion, we have solved the region, and that is very interesting. Those are very much themes that are represented. We're graduated now, another academy belonging to a different fruit, and the whole 1,000 angle. It's all very mysterious. As is another potential bit of cheeky information here, which is this by Eclipse. The point being here is that this mountain somehow is connected to the DLC. It is a hint towards it. So, what is this mountain then? This is very easy to answer. It is Mount Kailash. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. This is supposedly the earthly manifestation of Mount Semeru, the spiritual center of the universe. And that's kind of interesting. I mean, on that face value, are we going to get a Pokemon to rival Arceus, another godlike Pokemon, a creator Pokemon? It's from the Buddhist and Hindu cosmology, so that's definitely interesting. But you can also interpret Mount Kailash to be crystal, that kind of imagery, which of course ties into the Tera crystals, the raids, the power of Terastallizing, the crystal shell of the Tera origin Pokemon, and perhaps then it could be even more literal as we're going to go to a new mountainous area, which could be that connector between Kalos and Paldea, and again a little bit, Kalos-y there in that sense. Or perhaps the mountain used to be where the crater is, and whatever happened to form the crater removed the mountain, which has some sort of effect on the Terastallizing legendary Pokemon. Maybe whatever removed the mountain caused the Terastallizing both phenomenon and legendary Pokemon. That, I think, is very, very interesting and certainly something to think about. So, our main clues then is many thousands or thousands of beards or just 1,000, a citrus fruit, as well as graduate, a mountain that is the spiritual center of the universe and tied to crystal themes, is going to be at least in some way connected to do with awe-inspiring the DLC. And ain't that just the most coolest useful information? No, I kid, it is actually really interesting and there is a lot of potential going on here. I would love your guys' take on it, I really, really would, and I for one cannot wait to find out the actual specifics of what's going on. I mean, maybe literally we are just going to get big super crystal turtle that is the titan formed of this mountain crater, and everything revolves around that. Who knows? For now, though, like you've enjoyed this, subscribe and hit the bell for more. Consider supporting the future of the channel on Patreon down below. And until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.